Can you give me one date in history, that the Palestinian people with the Palestinian nationality that they have today have had complete sovereignty over the land?
And give me one time in history where the indigenous people of the Americans or Austria or South Africa had a complete sovereignty over the land before the coming of the European settlers and colonization. There is none, but does that justify the colonization of that land? Does that justify the genocide and ethnic cleansing and the violence against the indigenous people there? Does that give the Europeans the right to go there and to say, oh, this is a wasted land, like we could do better with this land, we can build more civilized states here and do much better, so we can colonize it, we can do it, we can take over. These barbaric people, they don't have the idea, the concept of sovereignty. They are not even a nationality in a real sense as we are advanced people, more civilized people. They don't know what is a national state and they didn't have it. So we have the right now to go and establish our own nation state, our own independent states, and call it whatever we want. This argument is a colonial argument, a racist colonial argument that you are using to say like these people have no nationality before we came here, so we can colonize it, we can declare our state here because there is no was independent state here, so we can do it. Like this is colonization. Like you are arguing that you are not a colonialist, that you are not a colonizer by using a colonialist argument. But the first Zionists was much smarter. They knew that they are colonizer, that this is colonization. And they called the Palestinian or the Arab, as they used to call them, as the natives. Herzl called them natives. Jabotinsky, he called them the natives. And he actually called them Palestinian also, and Arabs. That's what he called them, native, Palestinian, and Arab. And he, by the way, compared the native Palestinians to the natives in the Americans and in Mexico and other places. But anyway, when we say about the West Asia, in West Asia before the First Great War, there was no states, no national states in the modern sense that have sovereignty. Does that mean there was no people? Does that mean it's all right to go to colonize any part of this West Asia? There was no Syria or Jordan or Iraq in this modern way of thinking, or like the national identity of Syrian or Iraqi or Jordanian didn't develop at that time. We didn't have it. But does that mean it's okay to go and colonize Syria or Jordan and kick the Jordanian or the Syrian out of their land because they didn't have this nationality? It's the same European idea about how civilized people should look like, and otherwise they don't have rights. And let me add something. The people in West Asia, or let me be more specific, it's actually the elites in that area, decided or created and announced their own independent states. The what is called the Arab Kingdom of Syria, that contain all Levant, like what is today Palestine, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria. Because yes, Syria at that time means the whole region, and Palestine, it was the southeast part of Syria, and you will see this also in the Western literature and statement to call like southeast Syria Palestine. And this new state had a prince who became a king and has its own money and representative who came from different part of this kingdom or state, including Palestine. But the colonial Britain and France came and say, no, we will not allow you. You are too young to do it. You are too uncivilized to do it. We should have our own mandate, and we should cut off your land as we want. We cut it as we want, as it suits us and suits our interests, not as it suits your interests and your wants. Okay, we came, we do it, we cut Palestine alone, keep it apart from other part of Levant, and okay, now we go and promise this land to the Jewish people to make their own homeland there. And without this colonial power, without the British and the West in general, we will never see Israel here. We will never see this colonial buffer state of the West. But Palestine will be decolonized. West Asia as a whole will be decolonized. And there will be no place to such apartheid, to such a Western colonial state in the West Asia.